Hello, hello, hello. What's up, guys?
What up?
What up?
Going. Sorry, everybody. We had a little technical difficulties, but we're back in action now.
Back in the
We're
game.
rolling. Yep, back in the game. Well, it's good to have you guys all on today. It's a lovely day, Wednesday, February 12th. Um, got some exciting news, some new announcements. Markets are still pretty nasty.
Real nasty.
Yeah.
Actually, up just a little bit, but
Oh yeah,
a
it
little
did just get a
bounce.
bounce. There you go.
Oh, was there bounce? Well, that's good.
Somebody got their packet buy-in before the bounce, which was saw that come into the chat. That was a strong power play.
Power play.
Yeah, that was
So,
great. Yeah, I wonder if that was from the announcement that we made. I think it was yesterday or last night. Josh, do you want to maybe talk about the partnership that we just announced?
Yeah, we just got Fox Wallet has just loaded packet into their wallet. They're a really cool wallet. We've been working with them, onboarding packet into their ecosystem, also loading them onto the packet TV. And so yeah, it's been exciting because we've just been onboarding partners, and there's just tons of partners. I've had to create a workflow on how we onboard all these partners. So that's going to be really exciting to just be able to collaborate with communities and other projects, and just figure out kind of bridges to build between all these projects. The interesting thing is Packet TV can kind of partner with anybody, but we've been really focusing our energy on partners that are super aligned. Had a cool conversation with an AI gaming company. You can basically build an entire game in like 2 minutes, which is really cool. They have 4 games already that they've made, so that are live, and so that's another company that we're chatting with. There's just tons of stuff. Talking with some music companies that are kind of the Spotify killer, if you will, and just keep on onboarding, keep bringing more people into the ecosystem, and keep the good times coming.
yeah, it's been cool to see a lot of partnerships starting to emerge, and there's a lot of interest around promotion. Just a lot of people are struggling with how to get their product or their brand or their content out in front of people, because it's like you can have a website and you can have a social channel, but how do you promote? And I think a lot of people are struggling with just how to promote, and that's really what the Creator Hub is designed to do, is give people a platform to promote and to direct traffic, to direct people's interest over to wherever you want to connect with them, whatever you're looking for them to buy or interact with.
Yeah, it's been interesting to trying to kind of just shift the mindset of creators. It's really interesting how people are so stuck in their ways of how this industry works, from the film and entertainment industry. And you're like, hey, upload your music, it's totally free, and they're like, oh, I can't do that, or you need to explain to me how that works. I'm like, you've been doing it on iTunes, you've been doing it on Spotify, like, it's not a big concept. But this whole idea of taking ownership of how you get your content out into the world is just kind of like a brain fart for a lot of these creators. And so there's this whole kind of education element of it, where, and it's a lot of the similar education to crypto, right? It's like, hey, I don't understand blockchain, I don't understand what you mean by like my wallet, and like I have custody over my own money. That doesn't make sense. There's no bank that I can call, there's no customer service I can call, I gotta do it all myself. And it's like, yeah, you can, these are the tools for you to take the power back. And that's what we've been doing with Packet TV, is these are the tools for you to take the power back. And it takes that kind of education to get people to wrap their mind around it.
And I was just thinking about that, Josh, when you're talking. It's like it's such a foreign concept for most people because we've grown in a society where everything's kind of done for you. You want to release music? Well, a record label is the one that does it for you, and then, just recently within the last, 10 years, the technology has allowed for people to release their own music, take control of their own catalog, promote their own music, and reap the rewards. I mean,
Right.
there's an artist, his name's Russ. I don't know if you're familiar with Russ. He's a rapper, but he was like the first real big SoundCloud rapper where he was a rapper and the producer of his music. And before that, it was, the only real like guys that were doing that were like, Jay-Z, Kanye, which, we're not going to get into Kanye, but but Russ came up and he just put all of his music out for free on SoundCloud, and it blew up like massively. But he wasn't making any money off of it. And then when Spotify came around, then he just uploaded all of his music to Spotify, and he gets 100% of all the royalties on it. And man, this guy just friggin' turned into like the most massive artist, selling out arenas around the world, and just his whole message is about taking ownership of your freaking art.
Yeah.
And so that's what's so rad about like the hub and Packet TV is that like now you have the opportunity to take control of your content. Not saying that you're not going to use all these other platforms that, will syndicate your content as well, but you should be able to have a place where you're reaping all the rewards for your hard work. And if you're promoting your own, art on your social, if you have a big social media channel like an Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or, YouTube or whatever, if you're promoting a link and it's streaming from Spotify, well, you're only getting like, a fraction of what's actually being made. But if you then use your social media to promote a link that goes to the page where you get 100% of all the royalties, I mean, what are you going to promote? Obviously, SoundCloud or Spotify and iTunes will do their thing, but like, I don't know about you, but 100% is better than a fraction of a percent.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I was talking to one of my friends who's a huge manager, manages some of the biggest influencers in the world, and I was telling him about this, and he's like, "We take paid offers only." I was like, "But your client has the following. Like, you have the massive following. Why are you driving them to a platform that's taking all the revenue?" They're like, "No, we take paid offers only." It's like, okay, so you just want to take this cash grab up front because obviously you get paid off of it as well as the manager, but your artist who has all of the following, tens of millions of followers, maybe even hundreds of millions, and you could drive them all to a place where you keep 100%. And so they look at this lens through this like small lens, like, oh no, this is what the biggest creators are getting. And it's like, well, the biggest creators are getting robbed because the biggest tech companies are the ones that are clocking all the revenue. And that's where the money is. But we don't get to see those numbers. And we don't get to understand how much money is captured over here. We're just comparing creators to creators. And we know that all creators are getting effed. And this is just this whole kind of mindset that has just infected this community because like you don't make the money you used to make when the business was really pumping. Like people don't become billionaires in the film business anymore. Like Jay-Z becoming a billionaire, that's not like a thing people do anymore. And we're just stuck in like, oh, this is how it is now. And this is the amount of money that we're able to get. We can get the maximum of this money, but we don't get the full value of the content we create.
Yeah. No, it's a big paradigm shift. It's going to take a little bit for people to realize the way things used to be, but there is a good amount of money still coming in from the Spotifys and the YouTubes of the world. And so if you're one of the biggest artists on those platforms, then you are making, money. You're just not making as much money as you could be making. And so there's for sure the managers and agents in this current paradigm are extremely closed-minded, and I think it's less even about being closed-minded, and it's just more about just doing what's familiar and not wanting to try anything new and not wanting to take responsibility for making money. They just want to be paid.
Right.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a very large class. It's actually the majority, maybe even the super majority. I wouldn't even say maybe. Absolutely the super majority of all artists and creators who don't have the ability to make direct to audience revenue. And the reason is because, let's say you go create a website on, Shopify, or let's say that you go and, just make your own website on WordPress and put a buy now button on your content, whatever that is. It could be a movie, it could be a song. No one's going to know it exists. And you don't really understand how to market yourself to get people to come and buy your content. And there's also this belief that if it's not on iTunes and if it's not on some streaming platform, that you can't make money, or that if it's not on those platforms, no one's going to know it exists. And that's actually just a byproduct of a misunderstanding about what happens when you get your content distributed, where what actually happens when you get your content distributed is that it just goes into a catalog on those platforms. And it's very unlikely that these platforms are going to spend substantial amounts of money, marketing money, to drive people to buy your content, even if it's on one of those major streaming platforms or one of one of those. I guess they're all streaming platforms at this point, between YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple TV, Roku, whatever it is, all really mostly streaming. But even if you land one of those big distribution deals, how are people going to know that it exists? And the key is that even if you do land one of those deals, you got to have some sort of marketing engine. And so what the Packet TV and Creator Hub are designed to do is enable people to put their content up there and then also take part in a marketing engine that can drive awareness back to your destination on the hub, that can convert that direct to audience revenue. And you're the one that's getting paid directly without having to have a major platform intermediary in the middle taking in the money and sending you a royalty statement in 6 to 12 months. And maybe there's some money there for you. Maybe there isn't. Most likely there won't be, unless you're, monetizing on YouTube, or, Jerry, how much you get paid on Spotify per million streams. And it's a number, but you ain't, feeding
you
a
can't
family
even
on it.
And there's like a bunch of criteria to even be able to monetize on YouTube. Like you have to have 1,000 subs, and you have to have there's like all these criterias you have to meet. So like there's a lot of legwork to even be able to get to monetize on Spotify. So
So
it's not like you're just going to start posting YouTube videos and you're going to get paid. It's like a process that can take a year to even get, cooking. Unless you have, viral content, then in that case, it's a lot easier. But
and look, the backbone of this technology is the domain packet DNS and the domain name technology that Caleb's launched under Packet. And there's actually a really big announcement that we get to make today about domains. And we just were able to acquire the PKT.net domain, which is really exciting because that's obviously one of the top 3 domains that you can get next to .com and .org. And so we are going to be staking PKT.net, and that'll be a top level domain that people can utilize, which I think adds a tremendous amount of credibility to the domain system and people picking their top level domain. So you'll be able to get, yourname.pkt.net as a web URL that you can promote.
Yeah. I mean, that's super cool because just being able to get a free domain and having one of the top level domains, that becomes really cool to be able to say like, all right, now this is my website. This is where I drive people. And I think it could be just, I'm really excited about building out Packet TV and the Creator Hub, because that creates this like real need for those domains, and to be able to templatize that web building capability and make it so it's just really accessible for everybody. And so I've been spending a lot of time trying to either partner with a web builder company, or figure out a solution for ourselves where we can scale that in a big way and not have to build the world from scratch. But being able to make it so that people can just get domains, and that's where their whole marketing and promotion arm lives, and it's free, and they don't got to go and invest a bunch of money and then pay for years and years and years. I mean, we've done movies that are years and years old that you're just paying for a domain for the rest of your life because you just don't want to take down the website, even though it's been 5-6 years since that piece of content came out. But there's still money coming in, and there's still a call to action that can be made. And so being able to make that free for everybody becomes really, really impactful. And then also making it really easy to use. And that's just always been my MO with everything we've been doing. And that's where PacketPal originated, is just making complex things simple. And so, continue that march to make this accessible to all, and really get it so everybody's using it as just like the industry standard. And that's really my goal.
Yeah, look, there's a lot happening right now around censorship and around information accessibility, and some good stuff and some bad stuff. So I think as the visibility for this platform rises, we're going to see some great uses for it, where you're seeing content, for instance, getting taken offline. Websites that were I was reading yesterday about a lot of government websites. Pages are just being deleted. I think, thousands of pages have been deleted. A lot of information that's just being taken offline. And then you have, the whole situation with Kanye, getting deplatformed by Shopify yesterday. So that's like the bad version of, you got basically complete trash, but somebody supports it, and
100,000 people supported it.
Now you got him deplatformed, and where's he going to go? Is he going to go to WordPress and still be able to have a website up there? And then you could have even his domains could be taken down. There's a world where that could even happen, where the registrars could choose to stop supporting his brand completely. Just another level of censorship. You have similar, on the flip side of that, you have this whole crusade against DEI and the U.S. government removing websites about just information around women's success stories in the military, and just there's a lot of stuff that's just getting science pages that are being taken down, and so people are taking the initiative to make sure that this information is accessible on the internet, and you still have the potential that some of this content can be very difficult to find. Google can suppress search results, and there's things like that. So there's a lot of power that can be held in domains at the Packet domain system, and we're really keen to get that scaling out. We talked a little bit about Theo and unstoppable domains, and work that we're trying to do in getting some alignment with some of these major notable brands that could potentially use this domain system. And one of the things, Caleb, I wanted you to talk about is just what we've been discussing in regards to one-click domains, and building kind of like a dump stake equivalent for people to identify the domain that they're targeting, and then being able to being able to just buy it in one, one fell transaction. How's that coming along on your end?
Well, the it's still not exactly one click because you need packet, and even
Assuming you have packet though.
Yeah, if you have packet, and if you have Ethereum on base, then it can. What we can do is we can merge the step of staking and the step of getting the domain, and use a contract for that, so that it's the same operation. The thing that's a little bit challenging about this is that getting a domain to begin with is not a one-step operation. And there's a reason. The reason for that is the theory is, well, everybody always does it this way. That's the reason. Since Namecoin, everybody's done it this way, which is to require you to pre-commit before you get a domain. So you have to do one transaction to pre-commit, and then you have to do another transaction to finalize. And the reason for that pre-commit is so that nobody else will see your transaction requesting that domain and front run you and take it from you. It's done that way because everybody does it that way, but it is more secure. And a grifter could imaginably sit there and steal everybody's domains as they're registering them, if we didn't do that. But anyway, doing that makes it a little more complicated because it can never really be one click in the sense of one transaction, but at least it can be 2 clicks in MetaMask, where the first one is the staking and pre-registering all in one, and the second one is finalizing the registration. Yeah. So that's one thing that can be done. And then the other thing is, what was I going to say? Obviously, if we had a registrar that people could then buy with a credit card, that would be brilliant.
Well, yeah, let's just respond to both those things. So first off, I guess what I meant by one click, you're right. If there's 2 clicks, it's not a big deal. It's mostly about one window. And I think that's kind of the, just being able to do the stake, name the stake, do the stake, and secure the domain in the same kind of motion, the same, relatively consistent action. And that's not the way it's set up today, where you have to go figure out your domain name, figure out how much it costs, then you have to go over to staking, then you have to set up a stake with that amount of packet, then you have to go back to the domain and then acquire it with the stake. And at that, in that motion, someone else could have bought, another domain, and now the price of a domain doubles, and now you have to wait a certain amount of minutes or an hour for the price to go back down to what your stake number was, or you have to go back and add assets to your stake and then come back. It's like that whole motion is not, really conducive with scalability. And so if you were able to type, go to the page, type in what domain you want, and it says that it's, 1,000 packet, and then you can, name the stake, create the stake for the 1,000 packet right there, click, it secures the stake, and then your next click is to secure the domain, even if it's a couple clicks like you mentioned. But just being able to do it all from one window, I think that's where there's, some challenges, because I sat on a Zoom with someone trying to do it, and it took him like 10 minutes, and then the price changed, and then he's like, all right, well, I'm going to just get off, and I'll check back in 15, 20 minutes and see if I can get it. So it's like that, not a great solution for someone who might have the motivation to come in and get a domain, and then being able to just get it done right there, even if they have packet.
Yeah, the cool thing is also PacketPal will do it for you. And so Jeremy, if you want to post that link I just sent, if there's any complication, PacketPal for $6.99 will go claim the domain for you and then transfer it to your Web3 wallet, and you'll be able to just have it in your wallet. So like I said, just make stuff easy.
Let's be clear though that PacketPal is not going to buy not going to get domains by locking up more than $6.99 worth of packet and then transfer that lockup to your wallet. It's not a free money hack.
Sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're getting that price, and the thing that we're going to be working out, I think, in the next iteration is being able to make domains more valuable, and the way that and that directly reflecting how they rank within Packet TV. And so this has been something we're working on and trying to figure out the exact mechanics for. But it's really interesting when you buy a domain and you run your business on that domain. Over time, that domain becomes more valuable based on the SEO and the success of that domain. But there's not like a dollar amount associated with that domain. It's just kind of like, hey, we've been operating as a business with this domain. We get this much traffic, and that's the value of that domain. And you can go and put that on the internet and try and sell it if you want. And someone maybe buy it, someone maybe won't. But with packet domains, being able to stake your packet to that domain creates an actual dollar value for that domain itself. And so what we've been creating is ability to rank based on how valuable those domains are. So if someone stakes 1,000 packet to it, that's at the bottom. Someone stakes 1,000,000 packet, that's at the top. And being able to give people the tools to actually rank within this ecosystem. And so that's kind of this next iteration of domains, is being able to give people the tools to actually rank and have a benchmark of what you need to hit if you want to be in this upper echelon of domains.
Yeah, so we've been talking about, setting up a leaderboard so that you can see which domains are, have the highest stake, which is basically like, I guess you could say like the equivalent of like an SEO strategy, or it's just pay to play, or an SEM strategy, which is Google's equivalent of you pay to get your to get your link highest up on the page, right? Because that whole top section of Google is for sponsored links. So if somebody pays, or it's not pays, but stakes more money packet onto their domain, then they will get that priority ranking. And being able to see the leaderboard and be able to see how much it would cost for you to get that top positioning. And then for the Creator Hub to essentially honor the priority of those domains, so that those people that are wanting to invest into promoting their content can get the priority positioning.
And make it really easy, because most people don't even know about staking or what that means or any of that stuff. And so kind of more on the front of how PacketPal can make that simpler is just allowing people to pay more for their domain, and that equaling a ranking ability within the ecosystem. And so that's kind of how PacketPal is working to just make these concepts simple and make them accessible to all, where you can go swipe a credit card and all that stuff's done for you. So yeah, if you want to get a base level domain, $6.99. If you want to rank, then you let us know how big you want to go and how and how valuable you want that domain to be, and we can help do that. And we just charge a fee on top of that.
Yeah. One of the challenges, I know, Caleb, you were trying to say, where it's like, if you go buy you'll pay PacketPal $6.99, but if domains are at that point costing, $20, then you get a $20 stake domain, and then you could unstake it and, make $13. It is a little bit tricky because domains is a moving target as far as pricing, and one of the things, as this starts to get some popularity, I've always had concerned about is the price doubling on each domain. I feel like that's probably too much of a moving target and too much of a price differential. but I'd love to see it kind of go up more incrementally, in the 10 to 20% range, but between and going down. And yeah, if you have a huge amount of influx, then the price is going to go up in that moment. But rather than the price just like doubling and tripling, quadrupling just within the matter of a couple people getting domains, seems egregious and a bit of a moving target. But even if that's not the case, what Pagapal's mentality would be is that you acquire the domain, and then there's a window of time in which Pagapal would acquire that domain, presuming that the price would be able to go back down, so that we could secure it within a window of pricing that isn't at the surge charge, if you will, of a couple of people getting domains in a tight sequence, because it does pretty much, there's not a huge amount of, there's almost 300 domains, so it's not a small number, but yeah, just on a daily basis, I see consistently the price of a domain around 1,000 packet, so there's still, not like you're making a lot of money doing it, but there's a margin there to be able to acquire these domains. And look, there's a lot of opportunity here for anybody to take advantage of building a business on this registrar service. We're just trying to get our minds wrapped around how Pagapal can provide a registrar service and a custody service, for that matter, so that people can pay on an annual basis for Pagapal to custody the domain. And it's very similar to how, any of your domains, if anyone owns domains out in the world today, you have a subscription, you have a login to your Namecheap account, and Namecheap custodies your domain. You can see that you quote unquote own it, but they're in custody of it. And if you want to move it to another registrar, you have to essentially pay them and go through a whole process to move it. So it's not really in your personal custody, it's in their custody. They're the registrar. And with packet domains, you are in custody of it in your physical wallet. If you lose your private key to your wallet, you lose your domain. And been hearing a bunch of weird stories where people will get a new phone and they'll transfer all their apps over and just forget that they have a Web3 wallet and wipe their phone off, and then can't find their key, or can't find their secret phrase, and are just like, oh my gosh, I just lost my wallet. They don't have good password security, or it's a lot of people, and they don't think about their Web3 wallet. They're so used to apps and iCloud that they don't have good practice around private keys. And if you have a domain in a Coinbase wallet, or any Web3 wallet that you're in custody of, it's gone. And even worse, if you have that domain with live and you have a website there, you're not going to be able to edit it. You're completely screwed. So there's a service there around that we're looking into for Pagapal to be able to custody the domains for people for $10 a year, and just make it so that, for more on the normie front, it won't be for our, crypto native people, but for people who are looking to take advantage of this, and creators and brands, and, they might be keen to take advantage of not having to be responsible for custody.
So I think that the customer of the Pagapal offering is going to be somebody who either doesn't have a Web3 wallet or doesn't trust their Web3 wallet to trust their business to their Web3 wallet.
Right.
And if you have a Web3 wallet, like, just get your own domain, do it yourself, because
totally.
it'll be easy. It'll be, why would you go through Rowdy? Then if you do go through Rowdy, and then you're kind of like by default into the custody service. And if you want to get out of the custody service and have that domain free and clear in your own wallet, that'll be like a support call, a support email.
Yeah.
And then you will, Rowdy and you will arrange how to make sure that Rowdy is remunerated for the value of the lockup that's under that domain. And then, you get the domain and Rowdy is covered for the cost of the lockup. I think
Totally.
that's how it's going to work.
That's right. Yeah. Anybody who uses the custody service can withdraw custody and can have the domain sent to them. And there will be, as Caleb mentioned, a process for that to be accomplished. And to Josh's point, some of these domains could become quite valuable. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to rank number one in the hub and needs to put, $1,500 worth of packet on that domain. You technically could stake that. And now that domain, that the NFT associated with that domain is worth $1,500. And and then of course at any time you could just remove that value off of the domain, or that domain could be transferred with that value associated with it. So it's pretty cool. We've started to experiment a little bit with domains being sent wallet to wallet. You can use base scan as a and they have like a contract function there where you can literally just send a domain, a packet domain from one wallet to the next. So that was pretty cool. We Caleb kind of guided us through, and I sent a domain to Jeremy that I had gotten for him, and so technically someone could build a tool that could use that function on base scan to move domains, and that could be a place people could come and connect their wallet and transfer domains. Obviously be careful anything that you're connecting your wallet to on the web, but that capability exists, and there's a bunch of use cases for this type of stuff. So it's obviously very early days, but this tech is very, very powerful. And kind of how we got on this topic is because what's setting this project apart, what's giving this project the legs that it has right now, is the domain system. That's the power of putting the creator, or any content creator for that matter, direct to audience, is by virtue of you having a domain that you can get free for life, where you don't have to pay renewal fees. You don't need to pay an upfront fee, other than obviously your stake, but the stake stays in your custody. So you're not really paying anyone. You have to have packet, but you don't have to make that payment to a third party. There's not like an actual cost there, or an expense, I should say. And then it's like, now that you have that website, how are you able to promote it? Well, you have the Creator Hub that can promote it. And that's, I feel, extremely powerful prospect, whereas, you can go put your content on YouTube. You should, but how is anyone going to know it's there? And so with the Creator Hub, you have an engine that can actually promote your content, that you can actually physically promote. So one of the things that we're also going to be announcing soon is we're doing a few partnerships right now with some major marketing engines that will be able to take content and really amplify awareness for it. So specifically digital marketing services that will be available to creators so that they can use those services to, willfully promote their content, really take action, and put the creator in the driver's seat in terms of how they want the visibility of their product or their brand to be in the world. And I think this is a concept that a lot of people struggle with, because when you're a content creator, you really just want someone else to do it for you. They call it, I was reading an article called the golden elevator, right? So the dream is that you create a piece of content and you're just anointed by one of these big distribution companies, and they give you the golden elevator to the top, right? And the way that the golden elevator works is through expert marketing and publicity. And obviously you should presumably have some sort of talent, but there's a lot of people that could argue that people that aren't the best artists are still the most famous artists. And it's because of the golden elevator. But the amount of people that get the golden elevator is so few. So if you're dreaming of being famous and successful, that's great. and maybe you hit the lotto. But for the other 99.99% of people that don't hit the lotto, what tools are available for you to succeed? And you don't need to be famous to be successful. That's another misnomer. It's like you can make amazing amounts of money just by being visible, just by being accessible, just by being purchasable. And so a lot of people just don't know where to start. And that's why the biggest platforms are YouTube and Spotify and iTunes, because that's the biggest brand. So you think you have to be there. And so everyone tries to get there. And once they get there, they realize that they make no money because you're just one of hundreds of thousands of titles or songs or pieces of content that are in those ecosystems. So it's very difficult to get discovered, and you're back to this golden elevator concept. So how can you put yourself into a silver elevator, right? You might not get the golden elevator, but you can still get somewhere. And so if we can provide the tools, particularly on the distribution, direct to audience, and on the marketing side, where you can actually like press the button and it will promote your content, and you can have someone who's an expert, a team and a service company that's an expert in doing studio level marketing, and you can actually control your own destiny. I think a lot of people are going to want that. And so that's really the direction that we're going to be taking the Creator Hub, and giving people the power of self-promotion, but to do it rather than it just being, kind of amateur level, being able to do it on an expert level, because you'll have someone who actually does that level of marketing for the majors, now doing it on behalf of yourself as an independent. And instead of all the money flowing through the majors' coffers, it's going to flow directly to you. And it's a really powerful concept. And that was always the vision for us on why we were building this network. I didn't realize that the catalyst was going to be the DNS system that Caleb built. But what the DNS system is doing is giving an identity for any type of content creator to be discovered. And again, it's not just media either. It could be books as well. It could be news. There's so many different ways that people want to, interact. And it's just giving people an alternative to resorting solely to these major media platforms.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you look at those biggest platforms, and they're really the biggest marketing engines. And that's why people go to them, because they're like, oh, that's where all the people are. But they're marketing themselves. They're not marketing you. You go to Apple, and the biggest marquees on Apple are Apple products and Apple content. And so then you have to market yourself within that platform. But now you're the person marketing, and you're giving away 30% of your product to the platform just for giving you a paywall. And this is the common misconception, is now you got to give away 30% just to have a paywall. And then, but to even get to have a paywall, you have to give away another 30 to 60% to a distributor to even get you on there. And so now you have to charge $20 a pop for your content, because you need to give away 60 to 90% of your value to the people involved. And so if you could just cut those people out, spend that same amount of money, spend the 30 to 60% on marketing to drive it to a place where you keep 100% of the profits, or even 90% of the profits, that's a much bigger number, even if you charged less. Because when you're charging $20, you're charging a high ticket value for something, you're going to get less people that buy it. So if you lower the ticket value, you lower the amount of money you're giving out, and you spend that money on marketing to drive audiences, then you get to make more money, even if you're charging less for your content. And this is like kind of a huge paradigm shift for creators to learn how to take the power back. And what's gotten me really excited about what we're creating with Packet TV is giving people the tools to do that. Because everything I said sounds great in theory, and then it's complex in practice if you've never done it before. And so being able to provide creators with a tool set that allows you to accomplish that becomes very impactful and very powerful, and gives that power back to the creators, which is really what the goal we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah. So this is the one thing I just wanted to give someone an example. So this is a new film. People may have seen this out in the world here. So this is a new film called Anora. 6 Oscar nominations for this film. It's being distributed by a company called Neon. And if you've noticed, Neon is fast emerging major distribution company. They make some great films.
Yeah.
Financier, distributor. So the dream, you could put that up there with getting distributed by a Warner Brothers or something like this. Neon is a great brand. If you are selling your film to Neon, you're really happy about that. That's a big win for you and your financiers and your creative team. So you sell your film to Neon, and Neon is distributing, right? So here is this is a web page. It's Anora.film. That's the URL that they acquired. And then literally Anora.film/watch at home. And this is how they're promoting it. So on their digital, on their social media campaign, and I got an email. This was sent to me in an email from the distributor to go check out their campaign to win Academy Award. And this is the website that you get sent to, right? So if you're the Anora team and you sold your movie to Neon, what is Neon doing to try and, it's obviously a great film. Neon didn't, physically manufacture the film. Maybe they did produce, but now that the film's done and they're the distributor, now they're into the marketing distribution phase of this film. And what they're doing is setting up a website that literally just directs you to the places where you can buy the movie, right? And you can see right here that the places that you can buy the movie are the usual suspects. You got Amazon, you got Apple, you got cable, and then you have Google. This is, Google Play Store. We can just basically buy the movie for a certain amount of money. You have Fandango, which is actually their at-home streaming service. Again, it's a TVOD, so a transactional video on demand. And then you have Xfinity, Spectrum, and Verizon. I'm not exactly sure how Verizon works here.
Cable. It's basically cable.
But basically, those are your cable, your linear cable, destination. So that's how you're watching it. And then they also they have stream. So these are where you can stream it. And then they have a couple additional cable providers where coming soon, probably video on demand on those platforms. So this is reason I want to show this is because this concept that getting distribution is the holy grail is kind of just not accurate. All they're doing is just making a website and making the film available on these digital platforms. You don't need a distributor to do this. Anybody could go get their film onto Prime Video, onto Apple TV, onto Google Play, onto Fandango. Anybody can do that, right? Now, they might have a little shortcut to do it, but is that shortcut worth giving 100% of the revenue associated with this film away to that distributor until they recoup their out-of-pocket costs, until they pay all of their executives to fly all over the world and promote this and probably charge up millions of dollars worth of marketing expenses against this product? Yeah, you might get this campaign, which is valuable, and they're obviously expert marketers, but you're paying a massive fee, a fee that could be so high that you may never see any revenue associated with this film on the back end. And Neon, believe me, will be making plenty of cash, consistent revenue on every single time somebody streams and watches that content on all of those third-party platforms. Neon doesn't own Amazon. They don't own Apple. They don't own Microsoft. They don't own Google Play. So they're just dishing it onto a third-party platform that has a paywall, and then they're doing marketing to get people to go there, and then people buy it, and then they take in the money. It's a great business for Neon. They're making tons of cash doing this. They have a consistent stream of income pouring into their bank account on a daily, monthly, quarterly basis relative to their marketing campaign. So of course they want this product. They're going to do a great job marketing it. But you as the content creator on the back end of this thing are most likely going to see very little, if any, money, irregardless of the success of this. And so our vision with the Creator Hub here is we'll just give you a template. Like this template that you're looking at, this is just a web page. Like literally anybody can make this web page. This is probably the most generic web page you could possibly ever make. So the vision here is let's just give people this template. Actually, something I think will be even nicer than this template. But let's just say we give someone exactly this template for your content. And then all you're doing is just going and connecting your content up with these various distributors, these locations that people can buy it. Mind you, if somebody buys that content off of those third-party platforms, you have to pay a platform fee. So imagine this, one of those tiles is for the product to be purchased directly from your Packet domain where you have your own paywall and you're taking 100% or 90% or whatever the paywall is providing you the revenue share for, but it's going to be upwards of probably 70, 80, 90%, maybe even 100% if you build the site yourself. And at that point, you can go get it on Fandango Home. You could go get it on iTunes, but like you could also just buy it direct from you and you get all the money. So now you're spending the money marketing, you're driving the consumer directly to the platform where they can purchase it, and you're keeping 100% of the revenue. It's like, what do you need Neon for? What do you need Apple for? Like they're just taking all of your money. And I know you have this dream of the golden elevator, but it's a dream. It doesn't really exist for 99.99999% of people. So this is the story that needs to be changed. And for people who make films, for people who make music, for people who are doing TV shows, you're out there investing a lot of money, a lot of time to create your content. And then the idea that, your content is going to be just propelled to the top is it's a little bit of a fantasy. And so, what if you were empowered to take control of your own content where you could promote it as though you were the studio? Like imagine you're the studio exec, your content is a new acquisition for your studio, and you want to golden elevator your own content. What are you going to do? You're going to deploy the marketing dollars of your studio to put your piece of content in front of all the eyeballs of the world and in a place where people can get access to it from a distribution standpoint. And then the Creator Hub and the Packet Hub and Packet TV are going to just give you those tools so you can click and make that a reality for yourself. And that's the vision behind where we want to take this.
Yeah. On that note, let's get back to work and keep onboarding people. If anybody wants to join the Packet Hub or Packet TV or the Creator Hub, just go right here. It says submit channel and just submit a channel. If you want to partner and start doing some co-marketing, just reach out into the chat and we'll send you the form and you can get involved. It's super easy.
Also,
bring creators every single day.
One thing I do want to also say is that this is using the domain system. So it's packet.pkt.tv. And so that's super cool that, everything is now running on the Packet domains and the decentralized infrastructure and the decentralized media network. So that's
So did we get that live?
Yeah. It says
it's live.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
so that was huge. I mean, we're now promoting this. This will be packet.pkt.tv, and that's going to be the URL where we'll be pushing. And And what's great is anyone can make a domain using the packet.tv, right? So if you have something that you just want to put onto this platform, you can use the packet.tv top level domain.
Yeah.
And excited to see what people build.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick little rundown just in closing on network steward status, and that's just spend 5 minutes really quickly giving people an update. So we had engaged this team, this Web3 team that was initially did a great job on that first month. It was and we said this last week, there's always trial and error when you're doing marketing, and so this team, we were doing a bunch of trial and error. We tried these Zeely campaigns, we tried these Galaxy campaigns, and there was a bunch of different things that we attempted. We had some incredible success with them driving almost 20,000 views into one of these lives, but one of the team members ended up stepping out, and so and was traveling for this month, and so we ended up pausing the engagement for this month, and they ended up refunding back to the network steward wallet the funds for this month. So great guys, but just weren't able to deliver their full host of services on this next month. And so
but they did get us a bunch of partnerships, and like the Fox Wallet partnership, and
Yep.
The ApeFlix, and a few of these other guys.
They did deliver on partnerships. That is very true. And there's with ApeFlix, Theo, Scale, there were a lot of great introductions that came through them. What's that?
Ascendex. So we're still
D-Hub. There's a lot of partnerships still.
Yeah, a bunch of partnerships they were able to push through. So that was cool. And also being able to use some of these funds that they've returned to us to be able to push out press releases is going to be really valuable. And so we're able to kind of start announcing these partnerships on a big scale. We found an outlet that has pushes these announcements out to 400 publications, which is great. And if we can keep teeing these things up and pushing out news about partners and creating more buzz, that'll be super valuable as far as generating just more awareness for the project.
Yeah. So just want to give everyone a little update on that. There will, you'll start seeing some more press rolling out around these partnerships that have started to begin. And then the next phase is really getting back into social. That's kind of the next key ingredient for us, is reactivating a new team that's going to be able to start handling our social scaling. Obviously our goal is to build the X following and the Telegram following, and it's been elusive. Obviously we know that the crypto ecosystem has just been absolutely beaten down since Trump took office. Now it's just,
just came out of Binance literally just liquidating all their crypto into the markets. And so there's
Binance supposedly unloaded their entire treasury on us.
Billions.
Everything. They have no more Bitcoin or Ethereum left, apparently. It's a dicey little moment in crypto for sure. And what that's led to is that it's just a fast cash grab kind of world where it's just meme coins that live for a few hours, rocket ship up to tens of millions. And then, it's, whoever can get their money out quicker. And, there will be a new era for the legacy projects. I think once we start seeing a little bit more stability, but, the start of a trade war and a lot of uncertainty on international policy, especially emanating from the United States, has been, destabilizing.
Inflation just went up.
Inflation's up. It's just, we've been getting rocked. And, this is the kind of, look, a Trump presidency is the opposite of a measured hand. It's meant to be chaotic. And, but, markets like stability and predictability, and that ain't going to be the world that we live in for the foreseeable future. So, look, our goal with the Packet project is to maintain a steady hand in terms of delivering this particular effort and onboarding people that are non-crypto native that are able to use these resources and this technology and this platform for the purposes that they care about, which is, particularly the things in the media space. We also want to start veering into news and sports and other different types of content that can really utilize this platform. And all those things that we're focused on aren't guided by the ups and downs and the volatility of the crypto market. And so our goal is to really start solidifying the project's presence in this category that's not so market dependent. That's not like having a temper tantrum every single day, and having Ethereum crater every single day. Can't even get out of first gear these days in terms of price action. But if we can get people who are actually using Packet for the purposes of marketing and promotion and getting domains and things that don't matter whether the market's having a red day or a green day, then we can really start to build in the trade volume and start seeing the appreciation of this project that I think everyone really believes in and hopes for. So anyways, it's a long way of saying that if you're tracking the Network Steward wallet, you can see the visibility there. We put out a report last week that shows the use of funds. I'll update that with the most recent refund that just came in. And then I think Caleb will have to work out what are some of the outstanding payments for the Network Steward. We should have a nice chunk of capital and start getting some good press, moving out there and building a round of awareness now that we're in the new year.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining today. We do this call or this live every week, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Appreciate, the 195 people that showed up to listen to the four of us chit chat. If you guys have any suggestions and things you want to talk about, questions, or even guests that you would like to see on this live, we're happy to reach out to those people and try to get them on. We've kind of kept it more like an internal discussion, but it's always fun to get, guests on here. And,
yeah, that's going to be shifting because now part of our partnership program is bringing people onto the live. So we're going to start bringing, as we onboard platforms and projects and creators, we're going to start bringing them onto the lives with us. So that's kind of been part of the onboarding form where they pick a day. And so on the coming ones, we have people who will be joining us.
Love it.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, if you guys have any questions, hop into the Telegram, Discord, and somebody will answer you. So
cool. Cheers.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great day and rest of the week, and let's go get it.
Have a good one. See you guys later.
Peace.